Good afternoon, Charter Nation. I hope you're staying safe and healthy. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some recent good news that we received with some statewide polling results that CCSA recently commissioned and received. The reality of it is that we're actually pleased to see that support for charters, even in the midst of the pandemic and last year's political challenges, has remained fairly steady, especially when it comes to families who are being served the best in charter schools throughout the state. And for those families who believe that having an array of options is really important, as no single one-size solution fits all of the diversity of California. We also have in this polling results some challenges, and the biggest one is that once again we've confirmed that about 30% of Californians don't really understand what a charter school is. That presents both a challenge of frankly, allowing other folks to define who we are and who they think we serve and what they think our motivation is. But the opportunity for us to tell our story, the opportunity for us to continue to reaffirm how integral a part of the public school family we are in California and the interests that we serve for the state and for the families that we serve, both the individual and the collective. So it is incredibly important that we all do our part. That's our new campaign, to talk about what charter schools are and what service they offer. Let's just start with some very quick 5 points. Number one is charter schools in California are all nonprofit public schools that are free and open to all. No, we don't cherry pick. No, we don't discriminate. Yes, when there's excess capacity, or rather excess demand to capacity, we make sure that those slots are assigned by lottery, and we do not charge fees. We do not charge tuition. We are not for profit. Unlike in some other states, in California, all public charter schools are required by law to be operated by nonprofit entities registered as 501c3s or by the districts that authorize them. Second, charter schools serve students from every single background, religion, and academic ability. Charter schools are not able to take admission tests to consider grades or otherwise any other form of selectivity when it comes to choosing their student body. And in fact, we are just at the same sort of demographic profile, and in some instances, we're higher than the state average, ensuring that our charter schools do reflect the diversity of California. Number three, charter schools are taking a student-centered approach. This could not be more evident than right now in the midst of the pandemic and how the different sectors really responded to this public health emergency. Those charter schools that are organized from a personalized learning approach were actually incredibly adept at translating their services in the moment of pandemic, and really were able to transition to full distance learning modality much faster than anybody else, and are providing an incredible service. Number four, the fact that charter schools are flexible, innovative, and free from red tape underscores that very point as well. And that is that the ability of charter schools to pivot very quickly was one of the hallmarks of how charter schools sort of caped up and rushed in to serve well in this instance of the pandemic. And we know that our charter schools, whose students also have struggled mightily, especially those schools that serve the most vulnerable among all of our students, know that there were significant obstacles to ensure that rigor and quality stayed steady. But nonetheless, we are incredibly proud that it was those very attributes that are part of the DNA of charter schools served us incredibly well in this moment. And that is the ability to pivot quickly, the ability to cut through red tape, to respond immediately according to the needs of the students and the students first. So as we kick back into a full academic year that is, again, for the vast majority of the state, beginning in a distance learning mode, I'm incredibly proud and expectant to see how beautifully our charter schools will again pivot to ensure that this year will start with a strong start, that this year will start with ensuring that the platforms for support and success are there for every single one of our students, and that we'll continue to be able to focus on the primary needs of students, food safety, social and emotional support, as well as, not instead of, strong academic outcomes and platforms for learning for all the students that we serve. We know also from our recent polling, to go back to the top item that I wanted to share with you, that the vast majority of families do believe that charter schools are an important contribution, are an important part of the public education family. More than 3 in 4 voters in California agree that parents should have a right to choose a charter school if they believe it is better for their child than the local district school offering. Now, we know that the public supports this. We know that families, as they've scrambled to figure out what are the best choices for their children, will likely have a different perspective than they did a year ago. We know in this moment that the idea that one size fits all and that there's only one model that works, if it ever was an idea that persisted among families in public schools, the pandemic has shown us that that's absolutely not true. We each, I like to say, are weathering the same storm, but all in very different boats. And the ability to choose from an array of choices that meet the boat that the families are in is one of the hallmarks of the charter movement, and one that I believe will continue to strengthen our case that charter schools are here to stay, that charter schools are worth protecting, and that charter schools can and are an avenue for quality, for access, for rigor, for equity, for the variety of modalities of learning that we know all of our students in California truly need. So it's up to you to join us, to share in this story, to share what we know is true about charter schools. You can start by sharing this video in your feed with your family, with your friends. We thank you for raising your voice. We thank you for speaking up for every single one of our students, and to share the good news of what charters truly are and the place that we have for a better California for all.